All right, stats. Here we are for your Baseball Project 2020 video on how I want you to type this up. This is what we went over today in class. Excellent. First off, title page, Times New Roman. Let's go 14 point. Well, I guess this is not. This is what, 24.5. Baseball Projects, a few spaces, fall 2020, your name, your year in league, 06 NL, 2015 AL, whatever. Don't put 2 points. The title page is 2 points. Then on the next page, you're going to give me your 4 models, the ones you found using your calculator. First off, how do you get Y hat? You really only need to type this out one time. Y hat, you go up here to inserts, then you go to equation. Okay, then you're going to go right here where it has like the square roots, and then where it literally has X hat right here, X hat. Okay, and then you're just going to type in Y, whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. All right, anyway, that's where you find it. Again, you guys are good with computers. And then you're just going to write your formula. Okay, so 5300.25x minus 616.25, and then your R value, correlation coefficient R value, 0 point whatever. Okay, so you're going to give me those 4, and then from that you're going to tell me what your 2 best models are, and you're going to give me their R values. For me, it was on base percentage, then slugging. Give me the 2 R values. Show me why you know they're the best. Okay, so you've already done that. You're just typing it up. Next, pages. This could be 10 pages here. The residuals. 10 actually might be a bit much. It's probably rethinking that. It's probably 5 to 8 pages. Residuals, it's 25 points. So just like you wrote down, you're going to type this up. Arizona would be my first team. All you need to do is really type this once and then just copy and paste it over and over and over. Okay, so the formula, then you type in their on-base percentage. It could be .332. Find their Y hat, and then as you already know that, then find their residual. Tell me whether or not they over or underperformed. Do it with slugging, and then just keep doing it. So go to your second team. For me, it was Atlanta. For you, it could be Boston or something. All right, then obviously team 3, team 4, team 5, ... team 14, 15, or 16. Okay, you either have 14, 15, or 16 teams based upon your year in league. So the final one for me was Washington. For a lot of you, you have 15 teams. Okay? Then, when you're done with that, this page here, 10 points total, you're going to list out over and underperforming teams. So using your best model, number 1 model, so for me it was the on-base percentage model. For you, it could be slugging. You're going to list all the teams that are overperforming. Overperforming teams, and you're going to list them all out. Just go alphabetically. Just go in those previous pages, list them all out, and the residual. So Arizona, positive 24.48, Chicago Cubs, positive 56.91, ... all the way to Washington Nationals, positive 12.87. I made those up. Underperforming teams, list me all the teams that are underperforming, okay? Then using your second model, for me was slugging, for you could be on-base percentage or batting average or could be home runs. List again all the teams that overperformed. Give me the team, name. There you go, ATL. You can write out Atlanta if you want. Then how much they overperformed by, all the way to your last alphabetical overperforming team. Then the underperforming teams using your second model. Could be the same team. Same teams could be overperforming and underperforming in both your number 1 and number 2 model. Anyway, that is your number 2 model. For me, it's slugging. For you, might be different. Then, so you've already listed all the teams that are over or underperforming. I want you to give me the 3 best and 3 worst in each model. So model number 1, which is on-base percentage model, the top 3 overperforming teams do go in order. So if the Cubs were number 1 here, I'd place them, the number 2, the number 3. Top 3 underperforming teams. So the team that had the worst residual, the lowest, okay? Like negative 56.32, the worst in terms of the residual. Not how many runs they scored, but the worst in terms of the residual. Then the second team, then the third team. Then model 2, top 3 overperforming teams using your second model. Top 3 underperforming teams. Again, it's all about the residual. Highest positive, and then furthest to the left on the numbered line. All right. This page here, 5 points total. So then what you need to do is you need to use this side here, as we talked about, the standing side. So a winning team has, first off, they win as many or more games. So if you have a team that win 81 and 81, they're a winning team. Also, their winning percentage begins with a 0.5 or greater. We're going to count them as a winning team. So I had 9 winning teams. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the NL East. Then in the NL Central, we had 3. And then in the NL West, we had another 2. So I had 9 winning teams, 6 losing teams. So I make mention of that at the top here. 9 winning teams, 6 losing teams. Then I got to go throughout my residual, and using model 1, Arizona, were they a winning team? I don't know. Whatever, Atlanta was a winning team. So Atlanta, winning team, if they overperformed, I make mention of that. Okay, so what I need to do here is I need to look at all my winning teams, all 9 of them, and see how many of them overperformed in the on-base percentage model, model 1, how many of them underperformed in that first model, best model. Then I need to see, of my winning teams, how many of them overperformed in model 2, how many of them underperformed in model 2. Then I go to my losing record teams. I see how many of them overperformed in model 1, how many of them underperformed. And then how many of them overperformed in the second model and how many of them underperformed in the second model. Now I want you to make these observations. You can add more observations if you want, but for this point right here, make sure. So winning teams, now this looks goofy, but yes, there are 9 winning teams, but because I'm calculating 2 residuals, that's like 18 different residuals here, okay? Little occurrences. 18 different times you can be overperforming and underperforming, because I have 9 winning teams, but 2 different models, so 18 total residuals. Well, 6 and 7, that is 13 overperformances and only 5 underperformances. So winning teams were 72.22% likely, 13 out of 18, to overperform in the 2 best models. And losing teams were, again, there were 6 losing teams for me. And again, I'm making this part up. And 3 overperformances and 9 underperformances. So 3 out of 12, 25% likely to overperform in the 2 best models. And then of the 5 playoff teams, you're like, what? Playoff teams? Well, again, you go back to your standings. First off, if they're bold, they won the division, so they had to have been a playoff team. And then in italicized, Washington Nationals, Milwaukee Brewers. Italicized, they also made the playoffs. Also at the bottom it says who made the playoffs. The Nationals made the playoffs. The Cardinals made the playoffs. Houston, that's in a different league. So NL wild card, you got Nationals, Milwaukee, Cardinals, Atlanta, and then the Dodgers. Those are 5 different teams. Okay? Again, on the standings in bold, emboldened, they won their division, they made the playoffs, and if they're in italics, they made the playoffs. If you have 2012 and above, 2012, 2013, all the way up to, 2018, because we did 2019 in class, you have 5 teams in your league that made the playoffs. If you have 2011 and before, you have 4 teams. So you had 5 playoff teams, but again, 2 different residuals, so that's 10 different things we can look at. So if I look at my playoff teams and I see they overperformed 8 times, whereas I had 2 negative residuals, I would say of the 5 playoff teams, 80%, 8 out of 10 overperformed in the 2 best models. All right, and that's it. So you're going to type all that out. Take your time. This is due next Thursday. I'll give the exact, in class or at a certain time. But due next Thursday. Take your time typing this out. Make it look nice. That's what it's going to be. This is Yak Math Video signing out.